Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and a sort of miracle-esque puzzle for you today. It's called Humidex and it's by Shady Moon. I have no idea how difficult this is actually. It's being tested by one of our testers who wrote to say it's a fantastic puzzle. And then I looked for it on Logic Masters Germany before I turned on the webcam to get an idea of how hard it was. And I can't find it there, so I have no idea. But what I can tell you is it's absolutely ridiculous that this has a unique solution, because some of you may be familiar with 159 puzzles, which we've featured on the channel a few times. Don't worry if you don't know what a 159 puzzle is. I will explain the rules properly. But we've got a sort of 159 constraint in 3 columns and the rows this time, and 3 tiny thermos. Oh, and no repeats along a diagonal. And that's it. Apparently this specifies not only a unique solution, which I guess I can't really understand how it does that, but one that a human being can find. And some of you have been kind enough in the past to say that I do qualify as a human being. And that being the case, well, I'm going to see how this human being gets on with solving this puzzle. But Shady Moon, apparently this is Shady Moon's first ever puzzle. Not just first puzzle ever featured on Cracking the Cryptic, not just sort of first puzzle that has been recommended to Cracking the Cryptic, but just first puzzle. And that really is extraordinary. I should know what a Humidex is as well. That seems like a crosswordy word, but I have no clue what a Humidex is. I will rely on the comments to skillfully inform me of what Shady Moon is getting at, and I'll read the rules of this one in a moment or two's time. Now, I don't have too much to mention today. I've got some birthdays to do. We're on the 19th of the month, and that means tomorrow is the closing date for our Patreon competition, and I've just realised I haven't got the thing open that allows me to show you how many solvers we've had already. It was, where was it yesterday? It was over 1,000. I want to say 1,100, 1,200 of our patrons have solved all 11 puzzles of the Paint by Numbers Institute Sudoku hunt. That is phenomenal work. Well done to all of you. And I think it was something like 2/3 of the people who had finished even one puzzle had finished all 11 puzzles, which I think is a true testament to the skills of the setters there, because basically they've hooked in the solver. The solver's just tried one and then got addicted and had to finish them all. So very well done to the Paint by Numbers Institute. And if you do want to be in with a chance of winning the competition, please do get your entries to us by the sort of close of play tomorrow in some time zone on the world. We aren't strict about it at all, but soon, please. That would be most appreciated. Now, other things I want to mention. I do want to give a shout out to yesterday's puzzle by Myxo called Tetrafolium. Here it is. Now, this was hard. I'm sincerely hoping that Humidex is not as difficult as this. This took me, well, a bit shy of 2 hours to solve, but it is so clever. It's such a beautiful, beautiful Sudoku. So if you do like your, if you like your Sudoku spicy, do have a look at this. You'll love it. It is a work of genius, literally. And so definitely do check that out. Now, what else did I want to mention? Yesterday I read a very nice email that we'd had from Adriel, and that prompted one of our viewers to get in touch and write us a very nice email praising, well, I suppose praising the channel a little bit, but also praising this amazing community that's sort of grown up around Cracking the Cryptic. And the person who wrote the email wanted to remain anonymous, so I'm not going to say their name, but I thought I might share it with you. It's sort of a bit of a congratulations to you lot. I mean, I do think in this day and age, we could probably all agree that the internet is quite a difficult place to spend much time. In the sense it can raise your blood pressure, and often I think chat rooms and comment groups, they always have difficult personalities who rub people up the wrong way. And actually, this channel has the most incredible community of not just intelligent, inquisitive people, but in the main, kind people. And I am very grateful for that, and I think so is this anonymous viewer. So let me just quickly read you their email. Dear Simon and Mark, I've been enjoying your videos since 2020 after stumbling across your The Miracle Sudoku Solve. I just watched your recent release, one of the most beautiful and difficult Sudokus ever. That's yesterday's puzzle. And at the start of the video, you read a touching email from a viewer named Adriel. I related to Adriel's experience in so many ways, and I felt compelled to share my own story. Back in 2020, during the height of lockdown, I was an 18-year-old first-year uni student, struggling, like so many of my university peers, with overwhelming anxiety. For the first time in my life, even the thought of opening my exam books made me nauseous. In the days leading up to an exam, I suffered from anxiety attacks that left me feeling completely helpless. No distraction or coping mechanism seemed to work, until I discovered cracking the cryptic. The years from 2020 to 2023 didn't get much easier. My anxiety deepened into depression. I lost 2 family members, and for much of that time, the pandemic stole what was supposed to be some of the most formative years of my youth. But through all of it, I had videos of 2 British men solving Sudokus. When everything in my life felt uncertain and unmanageable, I could watch you 2, and for a little while things made sense. I would fall asleep to your videos, waking up the next morning to rewind to where I had dozed off. During my hardest days, I watched every single upload. I became a Sudoku enthusiast, completed all your apps, and even tried my hand at setting puzzles with limited success. Through watching your videos and solving puzzles myself, I found a space where I felt capable again. I could solve, I could think, I could try, and in doing so, I slowly rebuilt some of my self-confidence. You provided not just entertainment, but a sense of community where I felt at home. I learned the secret, the Fistamafel ring, and I sang along whenever a 3 landed in the corner. It was more than just a distraction. It was an escape, a comfort, and eventually a lifelong hobby. Now things are much better. I've sought help for my mental health and developed a much healthier relationship with my studies. I don't feel the same need to escape anymore, and as a result, just like Adriel, I find myself watching a little less and solving fewer puzzles these days, but every now and then I click on a new video and watch you tackle the latest mind-bending Sudoku, and in those moments, beyond being thoroughly entertained, I smile and feel grateful. Grateful for this incredible hobby, grateful for the countless hours when puzzles and your voices helped me through. Grateful for the space you and your community created, one that gave me joy and solace when I needed it most. And now, as I prepare to graduate university soon, I look back at these past years and realize just how much cracking the cryptic has been a part of my journey. So thank you, Simon, Mark, and the entire Cracking the Cryptic community. It's moving stuff, isn't it? And I hope it's okay to take some of your time and to share it with you. Anyway, thank you so much. You know who you are for writing. We do really, really appreciate it. Let's do some birthdays. We'll start with Ethan. Ethan, your fiancée Caitlin wrote to us and said it's your birthday today and you might appreciate the shout out. I think you both watch, if I'm not mistaken, and you're both on holiday in Germany at the moment and still planning to watch. So thank you very much for doing that. And Ethan, many happy returns. I hope you're able to find some chocolate cake on your travels. Oh, my phone is buzzing. Next, we'll shoot across from Germany to Brazil, where Letitia, it's your birthday today. And I know this because your twin sister, Livia, wrote to us to tell us that you are both turning 21 today. What a day that is. I think the 2 of you watch the channel together and solve together. So Letitia and Livia, many, many happy returns. I hope you have a brilliant day today, and thank you for watching. And then finally, Patrick. Patrick, it's your birthday today. And I know this because your girlfriend Bika wrote to us. I hope I'm saying Bika correctly. Bika claims that you watch religiously, for which I'm grateful. So thank you for doing that. And Patrick, many, many happy returns. With all that said and done, let's have a look at Humidex by Shady Moon and read you the rules of this puzzle. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Each digit in columns 1, 5 and 9 indicate the position of the 1, 5 and 9 in their row respectively. i.e., if row 5 column 1 is a 6, if that is a 6, then row 5 column 6 is a 1. Yes. Let's just quickly make sure we understand that, because what the sort of simple way of understanding it is look down column 1. And whatever digit you find in column 1 is telling you where to place the 1 in that row. So if this is a 7, that's saying put the 1 in the 7th column. If it's an 8, it's saying put the 1 in the 8th column. And the way it differs for the 5, well, it's exactly the same. If that's a 7, then you write 5 into the 7th column. If it's a 2, you write 5 into the 2nd column, etc. And then this one works for 9s. Now I think we've now got the same thing going on in the rows, but hang on, let me read this. Each digit in rows 1, 5 and 9 indicate the position of the 1, 5 and 9 in their column respectively. i.e., if row 1 column 5 is a 6, so if that's a 6, now I would expect that to mean that that square is a 1, but does it? Yes, row 6 column 5 is a 1. Because, and the reason, so this row is working exactly the way this column did for the digit 1. So if this square was an 8, it would be saying write the 1 into the 8th row. And then the 5s and the 9s. So let's do one for 9s. So if that was a 6, what does that mean? That would mean write the 9 in the 6th row. So write 9 there. I think that's how it works. There's not many more rules. It says on thermometers, digits must increase from the bulb end. So if that square's a 2, this has to be more than 2. It doesn't have to be 3. You can miss out digits. So 2, 5, 7 would be a totally legitimate way to fill the thermometer. And let's just pause there and realise what a small constraint a 3-cell thermometer is. I mean, it really doesn't do very much. And along the marked diagonal, digits must not repeat. So along here, these have got to be a set of the digits 1 to 9 without repeats, is what that's saying. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a secret about 159 rules, which it's the only secret I know. And when I first did a 159 puzzle on the channel, I did not know this secret, and that was not helpful at all. This is a very powerful secret. Although how it's going to work in this puzzle, I don't know, but it must be important somehow. It's a sort of entropic thing. So if we look within sort of 3 consecutive rows, either we could look at these, we could look at these, or we could look at these. Let's just look at these for the sake of example. Now, if we look at those digits, something weird happens to those digits. And that's, oh, my colour scheme. What's going on there? The colour scheme seems to be wrong. What's going on there? I don't know. That's really strange. I don't think my green is the right colour today. But anyway, sorry. These digits here. Now, we can say with certainty that one of these is the digit one of them is the digit 1. One of them is from the digits 1, 2 and 3. One of them is from the digits 4, 5 and 6. And one of them is from the digits 7, 8 and 9. And you may say, well, how can you possibly know that? Well, the reason is, don't forget, these digits are pinpointing the ones in these rows. So the thing to think about is how many ones can there be in this box here? And I know that's a sort of facetious question that has a very simple answer, but it's a very helpful answer, because in this box there can only be one 1, can't there? And that means only one of these digits can be indexing 1s, 2s and 3s. Because if we did say we made that 3 and that 1, this 3 would be saying write 1 there. This 1 would be saying, well, it is itself a 1. If that's a 2, it would be saying write 1 here. And you could see we would definitely get 2 1s in this box. The same is true if we made those 4 and 6. The 6 is saying write 1 here. The 4 is saying write 1 here. And you get this clash that must arise if 2 of these digits are from the same entropy, if 2 of them were low, 2 of them were medium, or 2 of them were high. Now that logic is going to apply here as well, isn't it? It's just symmetrical. So it's the same thing, you know, if we do a 4 here and a 6 here, that's going to put a 1, that's going to break for many reasons. That's going to put 2 1s on the diagonal as well as 2 1s in box 5. But you can see it works the same way. So I imagine somehow that is going to be important in this puzzle. And sorry, I don't want to do this again. This is what happened yesterday. I kept having to stop. And what's more, yesterday was worse than ever, because yesterday I got so stuck I couldn't even think of anything to say. In the meantime, I was sort of hoping that's not going to be the case today. I feel like in this puzzle the key cells are going to be these. And that might be absolute nonsense, so forgive me if this turns out to be a complete red herring. But the only reason I feel like they're doing things is that they have sort of 2 effects in each case, don't they? Well, maybe that one does. Does that one have 2 effects? No. Yes, no, that one does have 2 effects. Yes, it does. In fact, that can't be a 2. Or that is definitely, unfortunately, that is definitely not a 3 in the corner. And let's see why. I won't sing for it. That can't be a 3 in the corner. Because if it was a 3 in the corner, it would be saying write 1 there from the sort of column perspective. This is obviously indexing the 1 in this row. But this is indexing into which row the 1 would appear. So we get a 1 there as well. So that corner digit is either 1 itself and sort of indexes itself, or it's going to position, like if it was 4, it would put 1s in those 2. And is that a problem? So the 1s are definitely going in the same, you know, they're sort of going to either be there or there or there. So if this was 8, 1 would go here, 1 would go here. And that's, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with that. I don't think it's... Sorry, I'm so sorry. I do not understand this puzzle. What then are we meant to do? And sorry, the reason I was focusing on digits like this was I was thinking that whatever that is, let's just make it 6 for example. It has 2 effects, doesn't it? Because that 6 is not only telling me to write 1 into that position. Oh, in fact, it has more than 2 effects. Oh, that's weird. Right, so that digit only has 2 effects, but this digit has more. I'm sure it has more, because if that's 6, that 6 is not only indexing the digit 1, is it? Because it's in this column, so it's also indexing the digit 5. So whatever that is, it's saying put 1 there, which has an effect on that digit. That would now be a 5, because this is in the 5th column. Yeah, now this row indexes 5s, so that's a 6 as well, I think. But also that's saying, right, 5 in there, and therefore that digit... Oh, that doesn't work. That's very, very strange indeed. I've got no clue why. I mean, that's just a weird... That's a weird thing. Yes. Oh no, okay. I can, of course. You couldn't put 6 there. Yes, sorry. The simpler way of seeing that is if I put 6 there. But it's not... Yes, it just doesn't work. Because you have to put 5 there. And then in that sequence, I've got 2 of the same entropy, haven't I? Which I've just said when we were doing our secret. You can't do that. So it's also going to be true that can't be a 4. Now what happens if it's a 5 then? Maybe we can prove this is not middly entropy. If that's a 5, it's saying right... Oh, well, actually it can't be 5, because that's going to write 1 into the middle of a thermo. So that digit is not middly entropy. I mean, it's a ridiculous pencil mark, but it's either low entropy or it's 7, 8, 9. That's truly peculiar, actually. That is truly peculiar. So, hang on. Hang on. I'm now really, really, really surprised by that. No, what I was about to say is nonsensical. Don't say things that are nonsensical, Simon. So if... I don't know. Oh, hang on. No, I'm going to restore that. That is legitimate knowledge, isn't it? That is legitimate knowledge. So maybe we'll try this one next. Because that's also... It's not like this one, which is only operating on 1s. This one is operating on 9s and 1s. So whatever you put into this square, you sort of get double value for, don't you? So let's just make this, I don't know, make this 6 or something. If that's 6, what does that do? So first thing it does... Oh, well, it actually isn't 6. So, sorry, that's a terrible choice, because that just puts a 1 on the tip of this thermo. Let's make it 4. So if this is 4, that puts 1 here. But it also, don't forget, this is indexing 9. So it puts 9 there. Now that 9 has to be indexed by this, which is in the... So that's in the first row, which that makes that a 6, I think. That's... Oh no, hang on, I've done this wrong, haven't I? That's... Oh, I was counting from this direction. No, sorry, that's going to be there, isn't it? In the 4th column. Oh, okay, that just shifts the 1 over. Oh no, okay, that shifts the 4. Okay, so yeah, that instead. Let me go. I'm going to go through this again, because I've just got that very wrong. So that's saying put the 9 in the 4th column. That is in the 1st row. So this, which indexes the 9, is saying that's got to be a 1. The 1 in this row is in the 4th column. So those 2 digits are the same number. But I've got an unequal number of... No, this... yes, because that... Okay, so that does the same duty as that. So that's saying, right, no, that doesn't work either. You get a 9 into that square. Because don't forget that this corner digit is also doing double duty with 9s. So that's very strange. Is it always the case that that goes in there then? So whatever I put there, let's just make that 2. That's putting 1 here. It's putting 9 here. It's putting... Yes, it is. Yes, okay. Ah, all right. So here's a tiny point I'm noticing as a result of that. That digit and that digit are the same digit in this puzzle. That, which is quite a weird thing. And that's because... Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's obvious. I'm sure for some of you this is obvious, but it's not for me. This is indexing 1s and 9s. And the effect of how that sort of unwraps itself, this is also, of course, indexing 1s and 9s. And because they sort of, because they have communication through the lattice that is created, it doesn't matter. So let's do a different example. Let's do 7 here. If this is 7, I think this is going to be a 7. Let's try and prove it. So that is saying write 9 here, isn't it, into the 7th column. But that 9, don't forget this row does 9s, so that's in the first row. But then this 1 has to be indexed by this digit from a column perspective, so that's a 7. Yeah, so it does. It transposes through. So those digits are the same. But hang on, these digits can't be the same. So why doesn't that... Oh, yeah, they have a different... Yeah, that makes sense. Because, of course, this digit is only indexing 1. It's 1 in both directions, isn't it? That digit is indexing 9 in both directions. So, yeah, so that's really strange. So this corner digit has a different property because it's indexing 2 different things. Yeah, hang on then. So if that is... Yeah. Okay. I'm now going to make a very, very... Hang on. Let me just think about this. 2. If that's 2. 1. 9. 2. 1. Yeah. Right. Okay. I think that's a 5. Now that might be a leap too far, but I definitely think it's middly. And the reason for that is that the full implications of these 2 digits being the same is going to push digits into the corners. What do I mean? Let's make this a 2. That's the example I've just been doing in my head. We proved that if that's a 2, that's the same digit. So I'm going to just write 2 in here. Now, if this is a 2, it's saying write 1 there, write 9 here. So far, no problems at all, except that this 9 is or this 2 is saying write 1 in here. But this 2, of course, is also indexing the 9 in this direction. So it shoves 2 9s into box 1. That cannot be right, can it? Well, actually, here's a thought. Well, and what I was going to say is if obviously we did this the other way round, I think what's going to happen, if these are big digits, is you're going to compress. I think you're either going to end up with 1s here or 9s here. I'm going to have to prove that. Hang on, let's have a look. So if we go 7s instead, if we make both of these 7, then this digit becomes a 1. So actually the 1s just clash straight away. I mean, yes, I suppose that's an easier way to see it, isn't it? Just focus on the implications for one of the digits, and you can immediately see if you focus on the 9, if these are a low digit and you focus on the 9, you're going to have a clash here. And if these are a high digit and you focus on the 1, you're going to have a clash here. But what about if those were exactly 1? What does that do? Because isn't that going to put 9 here? And that might work. I didn't think of that before. So I now think that this might not be 5. It might have to be 1, 5 or 9. Let me just explain why I've narrowed this down to 5 and not 4 or 6. 4 and 6 are a problem. When we were going through it, we could see what was going to happen here. Because if you put double 4 in here now, in one direction you're going to get a 9 or a 1 on the wrong side of a thermo. You see, if this is double 4, the 4 is saying put 9 here. That's on the bottom of the thermo. That can't work. And if these are 6s, that's saying put the 1 on the tip of the thermo. That can't work. So actually, these corner digits are 1, 5 or 9, which is really weird. I wonder if that one has to be 1 or 9. Let's just have a think about that. If that's 2... is there some reason this doesn't work? I don't know. 2 is saying write 1 here. That's saying write 5 there. No, that doesn't work. Oh, God, yeah. That's so peculiar. Yeah, I don't know if you can see what I'm dimly beginning to see, but we are going to end up with the same issue. Because this cell is trying to do 2 things. It's throwing 1s and 5s around the grid, just like this. That's exactly what it's doing. But the effect of that is not very nice. It's not very nice, I suspect, unless this is 1 or 9. Let's try... Okay, let me just go through what the problem is. If that's 2, again, remember it's got 2 effects. Firstly, it puts 1 here. And that's fine on the face of it, except that 1 has to be indexed there. But this is also indexing 5, so it's saying write 5 there. So that's no good, is it? And if this is 3, what's going to happen? You're just going to write the 5s there instead, and this 1 will shift down. And you'll be in that world. And I suspect... So 2 and 3 won't work. I bet if we do 7 and 8, it'll have exactly the same effect. So if that's 7, again, we write 1 here, don't we? Which means we write 5 here. But this is doing 5s as well, isn't it? Which says write 5 in the 7th column, which says write 1. Oh, no, maybe I'm wrong. Ah. Oh, gosh, I am wrong. I'm totally... Oh, hang on, how can I be wrong? How can that be asymmetrical? That makes no sense to me at all. Wow. Okay. So I think I'm just... I think my intuition is just bad on this puzzle. It's just bad. So although I can see that couldn't be 2 or 3, I can't see why it can't be 7, and then presumably 8 works the same way. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm going to do it again. I think I'm just missing something. If that's 7, that's 5. That is only operating on 5. These index each other, so that's fine. But that's also having an effect. It's saying write 5 in here. The moment we do this, that's indexing 1. So you get sort of 1s looking at the cross in the middle box. Which... Why? And when this was 2, 1... Oh, so if I'd taken this further, I would have appreciated something, actually. So this digit always causes 1s. I mean, obviously it breaks Sudoku here. But the reason it breaks Sudoku is its effect on the 5s. But if you can keep the 5s out of the same box, which you can if this is a high digit, the ones effect is still the same. The one looks at a cross in the middle of the grid. So this is very odd. Right, so what we've now learnt is that one in the middle box can't be in the tip of the thermo. So one is in one of 3 places in box 5, which is jolly surprising. Now, what else could we do here then? I'm terrified of this puzzle. These are the same digit. We did work that out. And if I investigate that, am I going to find that's exactly the same as this? I think I would. I suspect this is 1, 7, 8 or 9. Why did we think that wasn't 5 in the I can't remember. If that was 5. Oh yeah, that put 1 on the thermo. That does seem legitimate, doesn't it? And then what was the thinking around this one? That this is less powerful because it's throwing 1s out into the galaxies down here and here, isn't it? So that can't be a very small digit. That's what we worked out there. And unless it is itself 1, it's going to be bigger than 3. It's going to be at least 4. And possibly 9. So these index each other. And if that's 9, then this is 9. That's putting 1 there. Oh, so 1... Yeah, so 1 always ends up on the negative diagonal as a result of wherever this index is. I haven't really thought about the negative diagonal yet. Yeah, that's it. Let me just think about that, because I can see that 1 could go on the negative diagonal into one of these 2 squares. So that would require this to be 4 or 6, I think, if 1 did turn out to be in one of these positions. So if this is 4, that is saying the 1 goes here and the 1 goes here. Oh, hang on, no, that's not what I want. That's going to take it out of there, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah, I don't think that's what we want to do. Oh, this doesn't work. Oh, that's weird. Right. Ah. Oh, that's very clever. Wow. Okay. This, I wasn't thinking about this at all, but this is very important. Because there's going to be a problem with any digit apart from 1 here. For the weirdest of reasons. Yeah, okay. I think. Okay, let's go back to making this 4, and I'll show you the problem that I think arises. The problem that's arising there is that 1 is going to be placed in these positions. If for any digit here, one is placed outside box 1 and in these positions, which means that 1's position in box 1 is in this little panoply of digits. Now the problem there is, of course, this is a thermometer. A thermometer cannot have a 1 in it other than in the bulb, so neither of those can be a 1. So 1 is going to be on the negative diagonal. But it can't be on the negative diagonal because this is saying, oh, hang on, no, it's okay. Is it okay or not? Oh, now I'm confusing myself because I'm thinking these are pinching 1s onto the negative. Or 1 would be in one of those squares. That's what we're saying. Oh, no, but it can't. Oh. Oh, right, okay, I've gone right round the houses now. But I am now sure. Wow. Right. Okay, this is very pretty. This is very pretty. If you put anything other than 1 in here, the puzzle will break. And it's not for the reasons I thought, but it's for a beautiful reason, which is that you're going to get a repeated digit in box 1. Because if this is not 1, let's make it 6, just for variety's sake. You get 1s in these positions. I don't care about the effect on this box, which is what I thought I was going to care about. What this does is in this box, it puts 1 in on the leading diagonal because it can't go on the thermo. And that's a problem. Because now, if the 1 is here, you've got to put 2 in both of those. If the 1 is here, you have to put 3 in both of these. And you're going to get double repeated digits if you put the 1 in those squares. Isn't that clever? Not of me, I hasten to add, but of Shady Moon. So, what I'm now believing is the case, because we can't make this 2 or 3, because then we're going to get 1s in those positions, is that is a 1. And that means that's a 1 by the weird logic we did on this box. Or not really on this box, but on that cell. Right, and these digits are now not 1. Now does that work there for 9? If... Oh, that's the same. It's the same. Oh, these thermos. I chastised them. I said they don't do anything. They do things. Oh, it's magnificently clever, this. Yeah, this is really smart setting. Right, if this is... It can't be 7 or 8, because that's going to pinion 9s like this, for example. If it's anything else, let's make it 4. That's a problem, because 9s are going to be in these positions. That means 9s aren't here. That means 9 can't go on a thermo unless it's in the tip, so they're not here. So 9 goes onto the diagonal, and we get 8 8 or 7 there. Doesn't work. Exactly the same. That's 9 in the corner. That's what I had yesterday, I think. Therefore, these are 5s. That square's not a 1. And therefore... Oh! Whoa. Hang on. I got a 1 here by my earlier logic. I've got to index that. I've got there's all sorts of things going on. Oh, okay. Because that's in the 4th column. But from this perspective, it's in the 6th row. This is saying write 1 in there. This is saying write 9 in there. But then it's saying write 1 in there. And that's saying write 9 in there. Yeah, so actually, once we got a bit of a grip on... Oh, we haven't got that one. I bet that's a 5. I don't know. I have no evidence for that. It just seems to me that these pinion positions are all 1s, 5s, and 9s, and that by symmetry, I want that one to be a 5. Now, has that actually done anything though? That digit is a 2 or a 3 because the entropy in there needs a low digit. So that's saying write a 1 into the... Yeah, it's weird. This always happens with 1, 5s and 9s. You get something, and then you realise Sudoku gave you that earlier. You just didn't think of it. Look, there's a 1 in one of these two, which means this square is a 2 or a 3, which is not terribly surprising. Okay. What should we do next then? 9 is in one of those squares by Sudoku. So one of these squares is a 7 or an 8. And one of those squares is a 7 or 8. I was about to say one of these is a 7 or 8, and that would have broken the puzzle, but this is indexing the 1. So that's not true. So how do we do this then? Have we actually taken a step forward? Yeah, okay, that digit is in one of those two squares. Oh no, that can't be true. No, that's wrong, in fact. I was going to say, no, that's wrong. This is doing the entropic low digit job for those and those, isn't it? So I don't need, in fact, I can't have another low digit here. These have got to be a middly and a high digit. Oh, of course. So the middly digit here Can't be 6 or 5, so it is 4. But we'd actually have got that if I'd noticed this pencil mark 1, because this happens in the 4th row. So those, okay, so they include 6, which is the equivalent of this. Oh, this puzzle's so peculiar. I mean, it's so peculiar. So, okay, so 2 and 3 in this box have to be in those squares. That feels very difficult, because we can't have any more low digits by entropy in these cells. And if we put... Oh, that could be 3. Yeah, okay, it can't be 2, because this can't be 1. That definitely can't be 2. This one can't be 3, because if that's 3, it would go 3, 2, 1, and we get into Ted Rogers' dusty bin territory. And nobody really wants to be there today. So let's think about that. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know again. I don't know again. It's probably going to be... it's probably Sudoku. 9. Oh, it is Sudoku. Where's 9 in the middle box? Because of the diagonal thingy, it goes on the tip of the thermo. That's going to give me loads more digits, isn't it? Because 9 is a very, very indexed number. That's now a 6. So that's now... Oh, hang on. No, that's a 4. That's in the 4th row. That's a 6. Oh, it would be so easy for me to make a complete Horlicks of this. That's even more suggesting this is a 5. That's got to be a high digit by entropy. So that's 7 or 8, indexing a 9 into one of these positions, which we could have got from Sudoku. But then the 9 here means we must have a 6 in one of those. So the middle digit there must be a middle entropy digit here. It's not 6, it's not 5, so it is 4. Yeah, and Sudoku takes care of that, and 9 goes into these squares as well. Good grief. And here the 9 does the high entropy job, so 7 and 8 can't appear here. So similar logic to we did with the 2 and the 3 in box 1. 7 and 8s have to be here. That can't be 8, because that would be too big. That definitely can't be 8. This can't be 7, because 7, 8, and that would need to be 9, which it can't be. So we're in a very similar position. Exactly the same pencil marks, just sort of with the higher numbers rather than the lower numbers. So if that's 7, that's definitely 8. Which is probably okay. Although then you'd need a high entropy digit in those two squares. And that's going to have to be a 7 there. Which is that fine or not? 7 there, what's that even doing? That's putting 5 there. That would rule my 5 out from the middle of the grid where I really wanted it to go. There is a 2 in one of those, so that can't be 2, and it can't be 8 by dint of that logic. So this is, whatever it is, it'll be quite interesting. If it's 3, what's it doing? It's throwing 5s. It's throwing 5s. It's throwing 5 somewhere. 5 here. 5 here, is that right? I'm going to actually put it in so I can really think about this. If that's 3, that's definitely putting 5 here. It's definitely putting 5 there. Okay. Now, is that a problem for some reason? My gut reaction is I want it to be a problem. It's putting 5 on the diagonal. Oh, but I don't like that idea, actually. Am I not going to get into the same sort of problem with doing that? If I put 5 on the diagonal there, then I have to put 2 here and here. And that doesn't work for the lead diagonals purposes. Oh, this is very unusual, this puzzle. This is very unusual. It's really very unusual. I mean, I can see that this particular number doesn't work. I'm just struggling to articulate cleanly. I'm not sure it's generalizable. It's, I suppose, the point I'm making. No, it is generalizable. Ah, right. Well, I can definitely state with certainty now. In fact, if this pinpoints 5 outside of this box, that I think is going to break all ends up. So if that's 7, I want to try that next. If that's 7, we're saying, right, 5 into those 2 cells, which is one thing. The problem is the diagonal, which is really a very unusual place to have to think about this. Yeah, well, although, hang on now, I'm not sure again. Because whatever this digit is, it's taking 5 out of these positions, in effect. Unless this is 4 or 6. It's 4. Oh, it can't be 4 or 6, actually. Well, I mean, I might be wrong now. If that's 4, aren't we doing 5s in those positions? That's just not right. And if this is 6, we're putting 5s in those positions. So 4 and 6 we can rule out. So this actually, I'm just going to pencil mark it. It's either 2, 3, 5 itself, or 7 or 8. Now, I thought I could see, when I made this, I thought I could see a general argument why this couldn't be anything other than 5, but now I'm not so sure. If this is 7, you have to double 5 those squares. That's true. That is true. And you can see that one effect of that is going to be to place 5 in one of these squares on the negative diagonal, because this is going to force it out of this cross. So it's going to be in one of those squares. Now, is that okay? And the answer is no. Oh yeah, that's okay. So it's very subtle, but it's very beautiful. Actually, Shady Moon this is really, there's a lot more depth to this than meets the eye. Okay, so this is the point. If this is anything other than 5, let's go 2 this time. What that does is it puts 5 into these positions. And again, 5 has to be in one of those 2 positions in this box. And why does this break? Well, let's put 5 here and see if that's a legitimate place for 5. The problem is this digit is going to be a 4, and this digit is going to be a 4. And if this was 5, those 2 digits are going to be 6. And you're going to get a repeated digit in box 5. So you can't do it. You can't do it. This digit is always 5. And that's going to do nothing, isn't it? That's going to do absolutely... No, all right. No, that does do something. Because now, by entropy, 4 and 6 can't go into this cross, because that would be a second middly digit in those 3 or those 3. So 4 and 6 are in those squares, and they're actually placeable by Sudoku. So that's 6, that's 4. which means 4 is up there. It means 6 is down here. So we're going to be able to do some thinking off the back of that. 4 here means 5 is in one of those. 6 here means 5 is in one of those. Does it have wider implications? Yes, because 5 in one of these means this square is 2 or 3. And a 5 in one of those means this square is 7 or 8. This diagonal is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, isn't it? For some reason, it's completely unfathomable. Right, so how do we do this from here? Is there more cunning trickery that we can perform? I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. I wonder if we can. I wonder if you can rule 3 out of that square for some reason. Oh, we're going to run into a problem, aren't we? 3, 2, 1. Dusty bin. So 3 is the only low digit we could have here, which would be here. Placing 5 on the repeating diagonal. Yes, we sort of almost got to this before, didn't we? When we were looking at the 7s down here. Yeah, this is beautiful now. So the point is now that this cannot be 3. Because if it's 3, let me show you. 3, 2, 1 we get. Now we've got to put a low entropy digit in here, which can't be 1 or 2 by Sudoku now, so it has to be 3. But this 3 is pinpointing 5 into this position. And the same was true here. We looked at this. If that becomes 7, what happens is that becomes 8. That's pinpointing a 9 here. The only high digit that could go here is 7, which has to go here, which throws the 5 down there. And this 5 in the middle is now dominating. It's like a queen in the middle of the board, dominating the piece. And that, it just won't work. So all of that means that we are heading towards a sort of this diagonal actually being in order. It would be quite funny if it wasn't, but so okay. So now, what do we need to put on this thermo? We've got tied. Okay. Yeah, 5. Yes, okay. Right, 5, in fact, is on this thermo now. That's going to be huge. But also, there's a high digit on this thermo, because I've got to put a high digit there by entropy, a high digit here by entropy. Oh. So there's a high digit on the thermo, which is clearly higher than the 5, but actually now looking at it, I can also see it's a 9. So that's 9, that's 5, and that's going to give me a whole load more indexing. That's now a 3, so that's a 2, that's a 2, that's indexing that one, so I don't even get a bonus for that. That's so annoying, although I do, because that's a 4, because that's got to index across. That's going to be, oh, that's a 2. So that does give me a bit of... Oh, now these are in order. This is mad. That's a 3. So that's indexing the 1. This is a 7-8 pair by Sudoku. So I've got a 7-8 pair somehow in this column. This is crazy. That 2 is indexing a 1. So that's a 4. This is now a high digit, which is a... Whoa, 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 whoa. A 7 or an 8. Sorry about the colouring. That's a 7 or an 8 by Sudoku. These digits are 6, 7 or 8. We probably know everything now, don't we? There's a 2 in one of those by Sudoku, so there's a 1 in one of those, which we could have got actually just by thinking about the world at large. There is a 2 down here along with 5. I think... Another thing I probably need to pay attention to, I bet this thermo's doable. Let's think about that. 1 in this box has to be there, so that gives me more That's in 7th position. It's in the 8th position from this. That's now a 2. That's a 1. That's an 8. That's this is in order. I'm not very surprised, but 5 has to be there. That needs to be indexed. 5, 2. That's 6, therefore. So that's 8. That 5 is in the 7th position. That's in the 8th position. It's really weird the way this unwinds. It's really, really unusual. That's a 7 by Sudoku. 7, 6, 8, 6. Oh, see, look at that. I mean, somehow this one's already been working. It just doesn't make any... it's fascinating, actually. Now that 1, presumably that's been in... Have I done all the 1s? Yes. Have I indexed them all? Almost certainly no. What about 9s? How many 9s have we got? Several. Although that's not a 9 or a 1 anymore. So 9 is in one of those, which means one of these is a 3. So this is 3, 6. That's something else. 2, 4. So 9 has to be in one of those squares, which we can already see it is by Sudoku. We sort of get there by dint of other nonsenses. So the 2 and the 4 go that way. 9s go that way round. That's now a 7 to index that one. That's a 3, I think. In this row, we've not had a 4, so we should put one in. Oh, don't know. 2, 8, 6. So that's 6, actually. 2, 8, 7. 7, 3, maybe? That 3 has to index a 5. That 7 has to index a 5. This has to index a 5. That has to index a 5. That's an 8. That's an 8. Wow. What a puzzle this is. This is spectacular. That 7's doing a 9. 4 here. 6 here. 6, 3. I haven't been looking for... Oh, there's no 3s in the corner in this puzzle. Of course there isn't. That's a 9, which we could have got from the 8 if I'd even thought about it. And that's a 2. There we go. Done it. That is magnificent. What a debut. How could that be your first puzzle ever, Shady Moon? Extraordinary. Okay, and what do we think about... So I think my intuition wasn't terrible. I think it is about these digits. But I think where it was terrible was appreciating that there was a lot more going on with these thermos. They're much cleverer than I first realised, because they are affecting. They're affecting things in quite a profound way, and this diagonal does a lot more than I thought it had any right to do. Is there some pattern then? Often in these miracle Sudokus, there are patterns that live in the completed grid, like, you know, low, medium, high. Is that sort of going on everywhere? No, it's not actually. Or no, actually, I can't see it. There probably is some deep pattern sitting beneath the grid here, or sitting in the sort of in the structure of the digits that we've entered. I just can't see it quickly as I'm looking here now. Anyway, did we check whether it's right? It is right, and it is magnificent. Absolutely love that. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.